Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing belly button piercing FAQs 2. I did a belly button piercing FAQ video back in 2013, if you can believe that, where I was still super awkward and in front of the camera. So I'm just going to be doing another one of those talking about belly button piercings and frequently asked questions that you guys had for me. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I am going to try to put all of the questions that I answer in this video down in the description box with the time. So if you have a specific question, everything will be down in the description box and the time that I answer it. So yeah, let's try not to make this too long, but let's go ahead and just jump right into it. The very first question that I'm going to be answering for this video is one that I get so much, and that is it normal to feel the ring through the skin? And the answer is yes. It is totally normal to be able to feel the barbell through the skin. The only time you need to worry is if you can see it through the skin. That could possibly mean rejection, and that means you should probably go get it checked out. But as far as like being able to feel it or anything like that, no, that is perfectly normal. I can feel mine. You can probably feel yours. It's fine. If you can't feel it, that's not really too bad either. That just means you were pierced a little bit too deep. But if you can feel it, then you were pierced either at the perfect spot or you were pierced a little too shallow. So just keep an eye on it and you should be all okay. The second question is bruising normal? And the answer to that is absolutely. When you are putting a needle through a body part that is not meant to be pierced, there's going to be a lot of trauma to the skin, obviously, and yes, sometimes you can bruise. Bruising is normal, yes. If you do have bruising, I would suggest icing it. The third question that I'm going to be answering is one that I also get a million times a day, and that is, my belly button ring is starting to sink into my skin. What do I do? And my answer to that is, number one, go see a piercer, because I'm not a professional, so I can't tell you what it is or exactly what is causing that. But if I'm going off of my own personal experience, basically what I know about piercings is the number one thing is you probably weren't pierced with jewelry that was long enough to accommodate the swelling. So your skin is starting to swell and swell over top of the ring, which is not good. Definitely go and seek medical or professional piercer's advice immediately if you see that happening. Don't take it out, because if it is infected, then you could be trapping the infection inside your body, which is also not a good thing. You definitely do not want that. But yeah, if you do start to see that happening, you were probably pierced with jewelry that was too short for your anatomy, and you need something that's longer to accommodate the swelling, because when you get a piercing, swelling is normal, and when you're not letting it swell, you're basically trapping in all of the gunk, and it's just not a good thing. So yeah, I would definitely go see a piercer or maybe even a doctor if it's really, really severe. Fourth question is, how often should I clean my new belly button piercing? Basically the first 2 months are crucial, because that is when your body is most vulnerable to infection. Granted, you can get an infection at any time, but those first 2 months are the most crucial time for infection to set in. So definitely I would clean it at least 1 to 2 times a day, maybe even 3 times a day, but don't go over that, and definitely don't not clean it. The first 2 months I would clean it maybe about 1 to 2 times a day, and then after that definitely once a day. And then once you get to about the 6-month mark, maybe clean it like once every other day, depending on how you heal. Now if you're a very slow healer, maybe you do need to clean it every day. But yeah, definitely don't over clean it, because you are also taking away all of the good bacteria that is helping healing it. So yeah, don't over clean it, because that can be not good for the piercing, and you can really dry out and irritate your skin. So yeah, at least 1 to 2 times a day. The next question is, can I change the balls on my belly ring if I don't like them? That is something that really annoys me, because when people get piercings, they are in such a rush to change it, and I understand, because I was the same way. Like, you want to change it to other pretty cute jewelry, you want to have the dangly belly rings. I get it, I understand, but people don't understand that belly rings are surface piercings, and surface piercings can take a very long time to heal. So you just need to just calm down and be patient. Can you change the balls? I guess if you want to. Good luck finding any that fit, because not all belly ring balls are made to fit every single bar, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't recommend it. I recommend that when you do get pierced, pick a piece of jewelry, if they let you, that you like. Do not pick anything dangly during the healing process because it's just gonna get caught and you're just gonna run the risk of rejection like crazy. So pick something that you like and that you're willing to have for a very long time while it's healing. And then after it's healed, you can change it all you want. But I mean, if you really want to change the balls, good luck to you. The next question is, how do I get rid of keloids? Well, keloids are not what they're called. When you get these little bumps on your piercings, they're actually called hypertrophic scars. Keloids are a totally different thing, but you will mostly hear them referred to as keloids, but they are hypertrophic scarring. It is mostly all piercings get them, especially when there's cartilage involved, and there's a lot of friction or improper placement, improper jewelry, things like that. So yeah, they do happen. They just look like little pink, red, skin-colored bumps that appear over top of the piercing. Like if you have nose piercings, I guarantee you've had one before, or you know, cartilage piercings, tragus piercings. They do happen, and they do sometimes happen on belly button piercings as well. So what I recommend for that is tea tree oil, sea salt paste, and hot compresses. I have videos on those things on my channel. If you go and check out my piercing aftercare playlist, you will see videos all about those things. Next question is, what's better, external or internally threaded jewelry? There is a difference between the two. Externally threaded is mostly what I use, and that is where the bar of the jewelry has the little spirals on it and the ball screws onto that. That is externally threaded, and internally threaded is where the bar has a hollow inside and the ball screws into the bar. I hope that makes sense. But there is a difference. When you go to a piercing parlor of any sort, they will 100%, I guarantee it, will almost always use internally threaded, because according to the APP, or Association of Professional Piercers, internally threaded jewelry is 100% better for new and healing piercings, because externally threaded, the little spirals on the bar, when you're putting it into the piercing, it's tearing up the inside. So they will almost always use internally threaded. Personally, for me, in my own personal life, I like to use externally threaded jewelry way better, because I find it's easier to put in and it's less painful for me. Now, if I'm gonna give you professional advice, I would say internally threaded is better, and when you do get your belly button pierced, I highly recommend internally. But for me personally, with my piercings in my body, I like externally threaded. Next question is, do you have to take out your belly button piercing when you're pregnant? And the answer to that is no, absolutely not. You don't have to have it if you don't want to, but if you want to keep it, there are things out there for you, because obviously when you're pregnant, your skin and your belly is stretching to make room for the little baby inside. And obviously a regular belly button ring or bar isn't going to work once you get to about the 7-8 month mark, because you're going to be quite big. So actually they do make and sell pregnancy belly bars on the internet, and basically they are just really super long bioplast material belly rings, and they are something you can wear inside your piercing while your belly is super big, so you can still keep your piercing open. Sometimes there are instances where people don't have to use those bars, but sometimes when people get really big when they are pregnant, those things do come in handy. So you can find them online, and they're just a really good alternative, so you don't have to lose your piercing if you don't want to lose it. The next question is, will being pregnant ruin my piercing? The honest to God answer to this is yes and no. Some people, when they have their belly button pierced and they get pregnant and their body goes back down to its original state, sometimes their piercing is, you know, really stretched out and it has that dark color, because when you do get pregnant, you have like a dark line, and your skin kind of gets dark and there's stretch marks. You know, it's just all part of motherhood. It's totally fine. But yeah, sometimes your piercing will not look the same, and sometimes it will. So it really totally depends. You just kind of have to see how it works after you have your little baby. The next question is, do belly button piercings have high rejection rates? And the answer to this is absolutely yes. Belly button piercings are the #1 piercing that you will most commonly hear when it comes to rejection, is belly button piercings. They do reject quite often. They're probably is a little bit more than a 50% chance. You either are really, really lucky or you are very unfortunate. For instance, me, I've only had mine pierced once. I've had it for 4 years and it has never rejected, thank goodness. Whereas my mom, she has tried to pierce it 5 times and it rejected every single time. So, you know, sometimes your anatomy just isn't set for it. If you are someone who wants to get a belly button piercing, I would go to your piercer and have them look at your belly button to see if you are able to get it pierced, because believe it or not everyone can have their belly button pierced. The next question is, I have scarring from a previous piercing, can I still get it pierced? Again, that totally depends on how bad your scarring is. If your scarring is really, really bad to the point where it would be dangerous to pierce through it, then I would not recommend it. Again, I would go see a piercer who you are looking to be pierced by and have them look at it. And they will be able to tell you if they can pierce through it or not. But most of the time, yes, they can re-pierce it for you. The next question is, how long does it take to heal? Belly button piercings are surface piercings, which means they do take longer to heal, and that is 6 to 12 months. And sometimes longer. For me, mine took 1 year and 2 months to fully heal. Next question is, I just recently got my belly button pierced and I have redness and crusties. Is it infected? Not necessarily. Infection and healing are 2 totally different things. Granted, sometimes they do look similar, but there is a difference. Having redness and those little yellowy green crusties that you see on your piercing, you know, maybe a month after you get it done, I wouldn't necessarily say that's infection. It could very well be healing. However, if you do think your piercing is infected, go get it checked out by a piercer. I did do a video on infected piercings and what to know about them. That is also in my aftercare playlist, which I will have linked down in the description box. The next question is, what is your opinion on dangle belly button rings? And dangle or chandelier belly button rings are the rings with the jewels that hang down. I'm not that big of a fan of them, and I don't ever wear them hardly, because one, they're very heavy on the piercing and they can stretch it out, they can cause rejection, and they can get caught very, very easily. So I only wear them on special occasions, like if I'm going to the beach or it's summertime or I'm going to be wearing a crop top or a little bikini. That's usually when I wear them. Do you wear them when it's healing? Absolutely not. Do not wear dangle belly button rings when your piercing is healing. Just don't do it. And I mean, they're fine, they're fun, they're cute, but they are not a full-time thing, and I don't recommend wearing them full-time because it's just gonna really take a toll on your piercing for sure. Next question is, what is the overall pain of getting it pierced? Can't really answer that for you because everyone is different with pain. Some people it hurt a lot. For me, it hurt a lot. And for some people, they barely felt it. So it's totally dependent on the nerves in that area and what your pain tolerance is. So I can't really answer that question. The only way to know for sure for you is to go and get it done. And the next question is, do all belly button piercings migrate? And the answer is yes and no. Some people, they get it pierced and it doesn't move for the rest of their life. Some people get it pierced and yes, it does migrate a little bit. If you don't know what migration is, basically it is where the piercing moves to the surface or moves to a different area to feel more comfortable. It doesn't fully reject out, it just moves a little bit. Rejection is when the body fully pushes the object out of the body. Yes and no, it really depends on the person. The next one is, can you wear high-waisted shorts? And the answer to that is, when it's healing, probably not, because that would not be very comfortable. I am not into the whole high-waisted jeans and shorts thing. That's just not my thing. So I wouldn't know, but I can't imagine when it's healing that would be the best thing to wear, because that would just be stupid. So no, I wouldn't recommend wearing them while it's healing, but after it's healed, yeah, go for it. The next question kind of ties in with that, and that is, what type of clothing should you wear with a healing belly button piercing? And that is very loose clothing, like a loose t-shirt. Even when you're at home chilling on the couch watching TV, I would even just roll your shirt up a little bit, just so air can kind of get to it and it's not just trapped under a super tight t-shirt. So yeah, anything that's super, you know, lightweight, like a big t-shirt or something like that. Nothing tight, you know, nothing high-waisted, because you really want the piercing to breathe. Because if you're having things kind of suffocated over top of it, you're trapping all the bacteria in there, and that's just not a good thing, and that could also lead to rejection. So just be careful with that. The next question is, how long do you have to wait to go swimming? And I get this question all the time. When you get your belly button pierced, you should not swim in a lake, an ocean, a pool. You shouldn't even bathe for at least 2 months. And what I mean by bathe is, yes, you can shower. I mean, do not submerge it in a bathtub. And the reason why is because the first 2 months, like I said earlier, that is when you are most vulnerable to all sorts of infections. So you just have to be really careful. And I love the arrogance of people when they're like, oh, well, you can swim in the ocean because that's salt water. No, no, that is not the same thing. You should definitely wait at least 2 months before you do any type of swimming or submerging. You can still shower, you can still bathe yourself, just don't submerge it in water. The reason being is because in pools, oceans, lakes, ponds, bathtubs, there's a lot of bacteria. Because when you sit in a bath, you know, your feet are in there, your genitals are in there, and all those germs are in the bath water now, and they're all coming into the piercing. You do not want that while it's healing. You want to keep all of the bad stuff out. So yeah, just be very, very careful of that, and do not go swimming for at least 2 months. And when you do go swimming, clean it immediately afterward. Do not just let it sit. There is salt in the ocean, yes, that's true, but it is not a balanced sea salt solution, and there is also tons of bacteria. Just because it's salt water does not mean that it is for your piercing, so no. The next question is, I'm not very skinny, can I still get it pierced? That is a myth. I mean, not all skinny people can get their belly button pierced, and not all bigger people can get their belly button pierced. A lot of people think that belly button piercings are only for skinny girls. That's not true. That's really a myth, and the only way to really know is to go and get it looked at. Belly button piercings do reject more often for bigger people, and the reason for that is because they do have more body fat on their belly area, and that's putting pressure on the piercing, and pressure, healing belly button piercing, they're not friends. When there's a lot of pressure, it pushes the piercing out of the body. So rejection is more common with bigger people, but that does not mean you can't have it pierced. Just go get it looked at, see what your options are, and they will be able to tell you if you can or cannot get it pierced. The next question is H2 Ocean or sea salt method. Really, they're kind of the same thing. H2 Ocean is a spray that you can buy off of Amazon. I own some myself, and it's just a balanced sea salt solution to clean your piercings with. Or there's the sea salt method. You should always use non-iodized sea salt. Iodized sea salt has way too many additives in there that can really start to irritate the piercing. Basically, I use both methods. I use H2 Ocean when I'm in a rush and I don't have time to mix my own. I will use that on my piercings, and the sea salt method is what I will use when I want a deep clean and I really want to clean it. Basically, you use 1/4 teaspoon of non-iodized sea salt, 8 ounces of boiling water, let it cool a little bit, and you have the perfect mixture to clean your piercings with. You can find non-iodized sea salt in some piercing parlors. You can also find it online. Just make sure it is non-iodized sea salt. The next question is, what is the worst part of having a belly button piercing? And that is probably the healing process. I mean, some people have a really great healing process experience and some people don't. Mine was absolute hell the entire time. I just could not get it to heal very quickly, which is fine. They can take up to a year to heal, like I said. But yeah, that was probably the worst part for me, was the healing process. The next question is, how do you know when it's completely healed? It's basically pretty easy to tell. You know, there won't be any redness, no crusties, no pus, you know, no pain. You will be able to change it without any pain whatsoever. If you are still getting crusties and pus and redness and pain, it is not healed yet. I hate when I see people comment on my videos and they're like, I've had mine for 2 months and it's healed, but I still get crusties. Then it's not healed. When it's healed, you will not have those things anymore. Cheek piercings and I think some other piercings, nipple piercings, those do sometimes get crusties now and again because, you know, mouth area, nipple area, you know, it just kind of happens. But belly button piercings, you should not be having any crusties when it is fully healed. So you just won't have any of those things once it's fully healed. And it's pretty easy to tell from a not healed and a healed piercing. The next question is, how do bottom navel piercings compare, or inverse navel piercings, which is the bottom part of your belly button and not the top that you most commonly see. Inverted navel piercings are something that has just recently been been becoming more popular. They basically are the same way. Into the skin is a little bit more thicker there, so it is going to be a little bit more painful getting pierced. Rejection rate is also very high, and healing could also take a very long time as well. Also, those do tend to reject a lot more quickly because they are closer to the belt line, which means your pants are rubbing on it, which means it could reject quite quickly. So, I mean, they are similar, but then again, they are a little bit more, you know, in need of TLC, if you know what I mean. Then the question following that is, my belly button piercing rejected, will it reject if I get it redone? It almost always will, but the only way to really know is to get it done again. And then the very last question I have for this video is, mine has started to reject, what do I do? If you start to see your piercing rejecting, take it out immediately unless it is infected. If it is infected, go see a piercer. They will tell you how to cure it, and then you can take it out. If your piercing is infected, never ever take it out, because you could trap the infection inside your body and it could get into your bloodstream and you could be asking for all kinds of shit. So don't ever take it out if it's infected. But if you do start to see it reject, take it out immediately so it doesn't fully rip through. And then once you do take it out, I recommend cleaning it with antibacterial soap to kind of clean it up and keep it clean. Okay everyone, so that is everything that I have for this belly button piercings FAQ video. I really hope I answered your question, and hopefully it was helpful to some of you out there. Yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give a huge thumbs up. If you are new to my channel, be sure to go down and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. But until then, I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye guys!